Tired of my boyfriend getting upset over inoffensive things I say? My boyfriend has a habit of getting offended by something I say. Last week I said, "My friend Sam wants to hang out with us soon. He wants to get to know you better. He's a good guy." We had a day-long fight about it because he said I went on and on about how Sam is a great guy after we had sex. It had been 20 minutes or so, but we were in bed talking, and that made me upset. We had a day of fighting where he accused me of not being sensitive enough, and I accused him of reading too much into a single sentence. This is not the first time it's happened. We've been dating 8 months. We were LDR for a while and had maybe 5 fights in that time. 6 months. The last 2 months we've lived together. I'm in another country, and he came here to live with me. Last night he was talking about when he goes back to his home country, he'll have to find a place, etc., and he doesn't know if he'll find temporary housing. I suggested him getting an apartment and breaking his lease. I have had to do this before and will do this next year as a matter of fact. It sucks, but that's how shit works, and we just gotta put up with it. This has turned into a day of us fighting with him, accusing me of taking him for granted, taking his job flexibility for granted. He can work anywhere, not caring enough, not being sensitive enough, you name it. That one sentence apparently had a lot of meaning to him when I was just trying to offer up suggestions. I explained my side, listened to him, agreed with him on some points, and apologized. He continued to go on about how I don't appreciate him. This is a theme in our fights. I say something wrong, he gets upset, he insults me without calling me a bad girlfriend outright, gets mad that I get upset, then says he can't tell me how he feels, and how it's always his fault and paints himself the victim. I'm livid. I've done so much for him, and have been nothing but grateful he has moved here for me. I never asked him to. He wanted to, and he wants to come back in a few more months when his tourist visa is up. He has always been the one saying he has the money, his job is flexible, he wants to be here. Now he accuses me of putting pressure on him because of that one sentence. Update 1. We broke up 2 weeks after we got into a fight because I was surprised to see him in the kitchen when I had just saw him in the bedroom. I said, "Oh, you're up." He responded by rolling his eyes, shrugging his shoulders, and demanding, "Is that a problem?" I said, "Of course not. I was just surprised," and went on to do the laundry. He left the kitchen and went into the bedroom. He gave me one-word answers when I tried talking to him. I guessed he needed time to himself, so I went into the living room to call my friend. As I was talking to her, I heard him leave the apartment. After I finished talking to her about 20 minutes later, I went out to find him playing Pokemon Go. I tried talking to him like normal, and he kept giving me one-word answers, not looking at me. I finally asked him what was wrong. He said nothing. I said to tell me. He said he didn't feel welcome in my apartment because of my tone. For listeners who heard the previous fights, you'll know my tone and the wordings of my sentences were things that triggered him a lot. Even if they were innocent statements like, "I thought you were traveling on Monday," or anything else that somehow threatened him and made him immediately defensive. For listeners who heard the previous fights, you'll know my tone and the wordings of my sentences were things that triggered him a lot. Even if they were innocent statements like, "I thought you were traveling on Monday," or anything else that somehow threatened him and made him immediately defensive. Unlike other times, where we would launch into a fight that would last hours or days, because he would insist I would have a tone, I would say I didn't mean it that way, and apologize, and it wasn't enough. This time, we managed to pass through it fairly unscathed, and due mostly to my patience, if I may say. But then later that day, he told me how annoying my indecision was, that I could never relax. That night, I wanted to see some friends for a few hours, because I had only interacted with him for several weeks at that point, and I needed some social time. He said that was fine. He's always said that would be fine, as if I needed his permission. So I went out. 25 minutes away from home and nearly at my destination, he messages me about how he feels lonely. He's going back to his home country soon. He wishes I hadn't gone out. We don't have much time left together. We were supposed to spend the whole day together. This was news to me. It takes a lot of effort for me to keep down the anxiety and just enjoy time with my friends before going home. We argue for 2 hours about it. Even though there are several times when I point out he's repeating himself, that he said he didn't even know he would feel that way, so how could I anticipate his needs? It occurred to me that he often would do that, wait until it was too late to change something, complain about it, and make it my fault. Like when he accused me of leaving him alone to fend for himself at a party for an hour. It was 15 minutes. I was watching the clock knowing he was insecure and didn't like social gatherings. Or that I was with my friend, he didn't like the whole time. I talked to my friend for less than 5 minutes the whole night because I had one eye on the clock and the other on my boyfriend. Why didn't he get up and talk to me during the party and tell me that? Why did he wait until the party was over and we were home and he held it over my head? Or the time we got back from a tropical island and he says he wishes we could have relaxed more when I was the one who planned the trip and was driving. And why did it not occur to him to tell me at any time he just wanted to relax somewhere? I thought it was relaxing because he was just in the car talking with me and playing Pokemon Go anyway while I was doing the driving. Was it really not that relaxing? Or that time he was mad at me all day because he thought I was mad at him and I had made some remark that he took personally, shock, and he didn't tell me why he was being quiet until hours later and after I pried and begged for him to tell me. This kind of shit. All the time, you guys, holy shit. The day of the reckoning. He finally leaves my country, he's back in his home country, messages me how he feels like he failed us, and he doesn't want to be home. I respond compassionately, but say he needs to get rest, because he's been traveling so long and hasn't eaten. And I wanted to give the discussion of his feelings the time and love they needed, and we couldn't, when it was 3 a.m. there, and he had to be up for work at 7 a.m. He goes cold, he goes to bed, he wakes up, still cold. One word answers. I'm used to it now. But now I'm fed up. I call him out on his behavior. I tell him I'm sick of him going hot and cold with me. He says I didn't comfort him the way he wanted me to. I reiterate what I had said. He reiterates that it's not what he wanted to hear. We break up later that day. We're both sad. Despite the bad times, we had good times too. Otherwise, it would have been easier to let go. I'm disappointed in myself for saying I still didn't recognize the emotional abuse. I said we could try again. He says we couldn't. We both cry. We both apologize. We both thank each other for the good times. Next morning, he wakes up, pissed, mad I didn't give him a chance, mad he has nothing to show for our relationship, mad at all the sacrifices he made. Side note, after the last fight I posted about, he had said to me, I look at all the sacrifices I've made, and I wonder, what have you sacrificed? Are you worth it? To give you an idea, that is the most hurtful thing anyone has ever said to me. And it was the beginning of the end of our relationship. I opened up my home to him, cooked him vegetarian meals, tried to introduce him to other people so he didn't feel lonely, took him out and explored the country with him, tried to cheer him up, planned all our trips. It was never enough. What was I sacrificing? My time, my energy, my mental health, my personal freedom, my social time with my friends, everything. It was like he always expected the worst in me and would only ever see what he wanted to see. So we haven't talked since, after he chewed me up and spit me out and accused me of never listening to his feelings and always blaming him for everything. That I should have told him how I felt sooner, that I should have heard him out on an apology, that he apparently had no intention to actually get better from, just feel bad that it happened at all and repeat the same behaviors as infinitum. If any of this rings true to you, please get out. I started reading, Why Does He Do That? Since I saw it recommended on this sub several times a day, it's opening my eyes to what I put up with, the unhealthy behaviors, the emotional abuse, the mental exhaustion I have suffered. I won't lie, I miss who he was in the beginning, the sweet guy, the promises, the love, the care, the above and beyond romantic gestures. But they had vanished only months into the relationship, after we exchanged I love yous, and then the jealousy came out, the insecurity, nitpicking what I said and how I said it. Even how I apologized wasn't good enough. His controlling tendencies. He demanded I not talk to my friends about it. Even after the breakup, he asked that I not talk to our mutual friends about our breakup. I could never make him happy. Please, please, if you read this and think it reminds you of your relationship, please know you can do better. I am single now and have been the last 2 weeks, but the moment we broke up, I felt relief. I felt a weight being lifted off of me. I have my time again. I can do what I want, when I want, without worrying how he will feel, or how he will react, or how long our fight will last, or trying to manage the anxiety he made me feel. It can get better. Look up signs of emotional abuse and click the link with over 60 examples. Google, "Why does he do that?" PDF and just read the first 10 pages online. If it resonates with you, then know that you have taken a very essential first step towards a happier, healthier you. I know I still have some ways to go. I am still trying to convince myself it was an emotionally abusive relationship, that I was not overreacting, that I can't go back, that I can do better, that my future self deserves better, that he was not the one. I had been so sure he was. But I just have to keep trusting my gut. It's hard not messaging him. I feel pathetic for even considering it. I used to be stronger. Maybe I'm still strong. I just have to get it back. Keep practicing. Keep being strong.